men denying low status and the problems with incels. I'm technically an incel, first of all, but I still see the problem, and I think it's possible I'll leave my incel state eventually in my life, and I've just been given a set of cards where I kind of got to figure shit out early on in life. I wasn't given a silver spoon, don't come from money. COVID kind of fucked up my college life. It is what it is. But I see this problem with incels, where incels would rather have zero status, no status. They would rather completely go extinct than accept low status. It's a problem because I think that the natural order of humans, at least in the United States, how it currently seems to work, is that you go from low status, and then from low status, if you manage your money right, if you're, good socially, if you try to gain skills, then you at least go from low status to kind of middle of the road status. And then a lot of the middle of the road status people who are, born in upper middle class families, they have the opportunity to go from upper middle class status to high status. They have the opportunity to use some of their parents' money to leverage a better paying career or become a doctor or do these kinds of things. And I think that the problem with incels is that they would rather completely evaporate. They would rather completely spend all their money and hide in a hole than accept low status. And this is even a problem I've seen in myself. I'm 25 years old, so I have lived my early 20s kind of being an incel, kind of being a shut-in. And to be honest, it's not like I'm a social guy nowadays, but I'm working, and there's a little bit of a difference there. I'm not a complete shut-in, Not that there's like a, completeness scale to being a shut-in, but hopefully you guys get my point. Is I'm actually out there, I'm actually working, and I think a lot of people look at my life where I work like 75 hours on the clock per week, and they would call that slavery. But I kind of rebut that point. I have a rebuttal to it, which is, what is the alternative? Be realistic. You're not going to Andrew Tate yourself on a fucking shitcoin or something. What is the alternative? If you've been dealt a low status hand, if you have shit parents, if you had a shit upbringing, what is the alternative? I think that this whole you're enslaving yourself, or you're working too hard, or these kinds of mindsets are inherently disrespectful towards the natural social order of the United States. And I don't mean disrespectful in a moralistic way. I mean it doesn't respect reality is what I mean. Hopefully that makes sense. When you're living your life like this, where you don't respect the actual reality of the game, you just find yourself in the same situation 20 years later, which I think is so true for a lot of these incel types. Because the reality of moving out of a low status into, let's say, middle status, it takes a shitload of work. And most people don't do it. Most people are stuck in minimum wage. Most people don't put the extra effort in. And I'm not even trying to sound motivational. I'm just trying to sound statistical. Just the statistics of it. They don't move castes. Moving castes is rare. And I think in a mathematical sense, the actions that it takes to move castes are also similarly rare. It's a bar if you understand that. And so I think what hurts a lot of incels is this inability to work hard. And I think that there's so many mindsets. I even find myself getting caught up in this, which is why I want to make a video in describing this. There's so many mindsets which kind of bring up this point of what am I working hard for? If I'm not going to have a family, if I'm not going to do this, if I'm never going to get a girlfriend, what's the point? Listen, I know the world is shit right now, and it's no fun. But again, I don't mean to sound motivational. I just mean to sound like an optimal perspective of your life. What if you do get a girlfriend? Wouldn't you rather have some G's in the bank? And everyone wants to say like, oh, you're an oofy doofy, you know? What if there was an option in your future life to have a girlfriend and not be an oofy doofy? Like, what if that was an option? And I'm not saying you're gonna become Chad or something. I'm not even saying you're gonna look Max. I'm just saying, like, biologically, if like, I think what people don't realize about men is like, man, you have a choice too. You have a choice too. And I think a lot of men just need to kind of hold themselves to a standard where it's like, you know what? I want to have a relationship that feels reciprocal. That is reciprocal. I want to have a relationship where, sure, I'll treat my girlfriend to something nice every once in a while, but I don't feel obligated to spend money on her. I don't feel obligated to ever spend money on bills. Why not just hold yourself to that standard? And I hate to sound like a self-improvement coper, but like, it starts with holding that standard for yourself, managing your money well for yourself, respecting yourself. And the truth is that if you're a low status in the world, respecting yourself means understanding your situation, understanding how much work it's going to take to get out of your situation, and then putting in action and actually working towards a goal. And it's not easy. And so I get it. I get why people are mad on the internet, and I get that like these older people are staying older for longer. So like a lot of the assets of the world are locked up. And a lot of older generations are like cutting off their kids and shit. Like that's my situation. I'm not saying it's common, but it's enough to have an effect, in my opinion. And so it sucks. Yeah, what do you want me to say? It sucks. Like, what do you want me to... Like, I think I've thought about that before in my own life, where I'm like kind of down on myself, where I'm like, man, this shit sucks. My upbringing sucks. What the fuck happened? But also, it's like you rethink about it long enough, you become depressed on it long enough, and you're like, what do you want me to do? Voice in my head. What do you want me to do? And it's sad because I think a lot of men turn to deletion of the video game file. You know what I'm saying? Deleting the video game file, deleting the save file. A lot of men do that. Simply because they go on the internet and what are they told? Oh, everyone who works minimum wage is a slave. Oh my God, I have the Walmart greeter job and my manager is so shit. Can I just raise my hand and say, like, most of my managers in my jobs have treated me relatively well? And I honestly think a lot of y'all are projecting. Hot take. Maybe it's a Seattle thing. Shit, I was even on a cruise in the South. And those working conditions were shit. And even then, my manager, like, wasn't that bad. So I don't know what this whole fucking anti-manager thing is, but I think it's just a lot of kids. Because I work with y'all. I see the kids that post these kind of comments. You're shit at working. Oh, but you're just a slave. Okay? If anything, I make this video because I'm sick of this like low status shaming. It's like you've been born into low status and then you shame yourself into low status and then you exit the world. Like that's your strategy? That's really your strategy. Like really? That's your shit. That's the hill you're gonna die on. I disagree. I make this video to say this. Accept your low status. Every part of it. You look like shit? Okay. Your family's shit? Okay. You got a shit ton of debt? Okay. I've been there. I paid off all my debt. It wasn't easy. I live in a room for rent right now. I got a twin bed. Twin bed is essentially the badge of an incel. Because what are you going to get in there? It's going to look like a fucking sleeping bag if anyone's in there. I'm kind of trolling at the end here, but I just make this video to say that men out there of low status, I think it's a much better idea for you to work hard, get some money, figure your life out, stop being fat. Oh my God, man. I swear half of y'all are like, what are they called? Like fake cells? I don't even know the incel terminology that much. But like, half of y'all are fake cells. If you're an incel and you're fat, you're a fake cell. Oh my God, that's a black pill. Oh my God, that's such a black pill. If you are an incel and you are fat, you are a fake cell. Get skinny and get jacked. Not super jacked, but like, skinny guy jacked. Just enough to have a fucking showing bicep. And then come back to me. like fat people who are incels are fake. They're fake cells. Most of y'all really are. It's not that bad. And I'm not saying you're gonna pull a 10 out of 10, but holy fucking A, you're certainly gonna pull more than whatever you look like a fat slob. So I always hate that shit when I sometimes I hear I listen to these incel commentary people online. I actually really like this guy. His name is No Roads Left. And I actually think he has really, really, really good societal takes. So shout out to No Roads Left. But I swear to you, being fat, which I think No Roads Left has mentioned his weight a bunch of times. He's also got DBDR, or hat flying. He's also mentioned his weight a couple times. Whenever I hear the weight thing, I'm like, oh my God, you're a fake cell. And maybe you're not, but lose the weight. It's actually one of my I would say my largest incel pet peeve. Here's a hot take. You can only claim to be an incel if you are at a healthy weight. Okay, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I think it's just me saying if you're born low status or if you're fucking fat or anything, just do what you can. Lose the weight. Sorry, that's why I was talking about all this being fat shit. Is lose the weight. Do what you can. Because if you're over here I'm a fat, minimum wage, I work 30 hours a week. Dude, I don't give a fuck about this. Oh, I'm not in chemical engineering. Oh, I'm not a software guy. Who cares? Play your cards, man. You could work 80 hours a week, which I know is not easy. Been there. You could work 80 hours a week, save 2 times as much money, probably 3 times, because if you look at the living expenses, I'll probably make a video on that eventually. Save all this fucking money, invest it in an index. We just hit all-time highs in the index again after everyone said the economy would collapse. Bruh. Just fucking get after it. And I think that life just responds to that energy. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm still an incel, so it is what it is. But I just think that getting to work is just a much better life. If I just wanted to play World of Warcraft for the rest of my life, which even I've considered, at least I want to have a fucking bicep vein showing and be a healthy weight and have at least 100K in the bank. So then I can save it and, invest it and just chill. Yeah. That's all I gotta say, guys. Accept your low status, work your ass off, and I guarantee you, America still has opportunities for people that work their ass off. But it's really, really not easy. And also, America is the easiest country to live in if you want to do the bare minimum. That's what I'm gonna say at the end of this video here is if you're a bare minimum American guy, then yeah, you're bare minimum. And some of y'all are going to be salty I say that. You're bare minimum. You don't deserve this extravagant life. At all. You don't deserve any of this extravagant anything. You didn't work for it. Work for what you want. And also this whole thing on the chicks at the end here, because people are oh, if I went from low status to middle of the road status, it wouldn't matter. I'd still get no chicks. Get there first. Oh my, this is the one thing I don't like about incels either. Get there first. You're talking about something you don't know. I guess that you could even, project and say that's me a little bit. But I kind of see it, I see it in the world, people that figure their shit out and they actually end up getting, healthy and they escape their crazy families. It's kind of a W, That's all I really got to say, guys. Just wanted to make a little rant on low status and being an incel. So, peace, guys. See you.